Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to another recording of Hearthstone. Today is August 15th, Wednesday, and we need to get one recording, we need to get one Monster Hunt boss defeated on my main account, and then we can move over to the European and Asian account. So let's hop back in here. We had somebody on the chat say, I'm not here, and good game on Android. Which I guess Hearthstone is a pretty good game to play on Android, although I find the Android version to be a little bit more frustrating to deal with if you play it infrequently. But it's alright. It's probably one of the best games to play on Android compared to so many worse games on Android. The I'm not here point is, I was talking about as I was wrapping up the last recording, how I don't have a lot of people that come on and point me towards talking about the news, or they want me to go on to natural rants or talk about other subjects. So I'm pretty much free from any social pressure to do anything, so I'll just do whatever comes natural. And I guess he's probably taking it to say, I'm not here as in, well, I am watching. Well, the thing there is, unless it's in the live chat when I'm streaming, I don't know you're here. Like, I would have to go look at the streaming page to see how many people are viewing right now, and it's really not an important number anyways. I do get about 50 views, I would say. I think I average 40-50 views every stream I do, which depending on the day of the week, whether it's Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, which is good and all, but nobody comes back after the fact and puts any comments in the comments section. Very few people put anything in the live chat, so it really does, from my perspective, just feel like I'm screaming into an empty void, which is fine too. Like, I've always kind of thought of my channel as just a video verbal version of a diary, as somebody who's not a huge fan of writing things down. It works pretty well. But I don't want to get into that too much. We've got a lot of news, and I didn't cover a lot in the first recording because I was going on slight rants. Eurogamer has an article. Arcane Studios says Dishonored series is resting right now. Done well it can for the moment. That's a terrible pun. I inherently don't think it's a bad idea for series to rest if they are actually just taking a slight break and working on the sequel so it's better. I feel like the standalone DLC of Dishonored 2 felt very much like a middle step of development, when you probably could have done it better and had a more polished product. And that should have been potentially the story that was told. The death of the outside DLC should have been integrated into the story of Dishonored 3. This is really what it comes down to. If I was ever to start a video game company, I would just name it No Trilogies, and inherently I think they're probably doing the wrong thing right now. They should just power through, make the third game, and then say we're going to spend a lot of time to start a new trilogy on the fourth game and take a break there. Unless the story in Dishonored 2 wrapped up really well, which I'm not sure if it did or not. It's possible that that story is wrapped up as perfectly as you could hope. played this. I'm gonna hold on to this card then and wait for the next turn. Yeah. There really is nothing called a duology. It's the problem. Like, in people's minds, at the very least, it's trilogy or it's nothing. And for that reason, I think Dishonored 3 should have come out to wrap up the story. If they're taking a break now, and then they come out in 5 years and say we now have the final third act of the Dishonored series, it potentially could be very good, or it could be potentially forgotten. I think a lot of this really just comes down to Arcane Studios being owned by Bethesda, and Bethesda just not really wanting to support it. Bethesda basically feels like they've acquired companies and then not really wanted to move the company's stories forward. In a similar way, they seem to be more focused to Doom Eternal, which I guess is the sequel to Doom. I'm not 100% sure if it is a direct storyline sequel to the Doom reboot game or not. So I'm a little confused there. It seems like that's what it is, but it also could just be a... it could also be a...
was unexpected.
What would be the right word to say? A side game, or kind of a multiplayer game. The snap map stuff didn't really work greatly. So yeah, I need to do some more research and figure out what Doom Eternal is. But I do want to see Dishonored continue. Dishonored is, for the most part, the spiritual successor to Thief. And when you know that, you kind of know that there's a large fan base out there of the Thief series. Summon 112 for a new death metal. Things that have died this turn. Let's see if this actually works. I don't know if I played it in Death Rattle. Cards, just that.
Job's done.
Deal 5 damage to all characters, so I can win if I can do a little bit more damage to the face. See. If I play this, I can't play this. I need to do this, and then I need to do damage to a minion. Let's see. 5 damage to all characters, and then 2 damage, and then 1 damage, and then 1 damage, and yeah. Let's go an Ender turn. Moving on, we have a Gamma Sutra article. Microsoft nabs the AAA talent to bolster its new studio, The Initiative. Microsoft's new studio, The Initiative, has brought a handful of fresh hires from various well-established studios, including Rockstar, Santa Monica Studios, and Crystal Dynamics. The Initiative was first announced back in June during E3, a Santa Monica-based studio headed by industry veteran Daryl Gallagher. that's currently working on an unannounced game. We've seen a lot of shuffling. How far did we get? We didn't get that far. That's fine. I don't actually need to do any of these, so I can really just pick whoever I want and play whatever I want. I think Tess Greymane is the best character to play as. It seems like there's definitely a lot of shuffling going on around this time of the year. Is that because it's near the third quarter and people don't want to end the year or work at a company by the end of December, or is it just E3 is over and now's the time to say we are done with all of that, or Gamescom is over, we're done with all of that, let's quit our jobs and move on to another place. Could also have to do with companies having the financing to hire people at this point. They've gotten their budget approved for the year finally, and thus they can move towards actually hiring people. GameIndustry.biz has an article. Valve tells Dota 2 teams not to take on gambling sponsors. Professional teams competing in the International 2018 advised to end existing long-term contracts. In a meeting with professional Dota 2 teams competing in the International 28 competition, the company told the teams that they should not accept any further sponsorships from gambling websites. Multiple existing contracts would be discussed at a later date. So they definitely seem like they don't want you to be promoting gambling to kids, which is fair enough, I would say. And this is an article that you may notice isn't going to be reported by PC Gamer or Eurogamer or Polygon or Kotaku. When Valve does something good that everybody would agree with, it won't get reported at all. The article goes on, this is by no means an unprecedented move. In 2015, Valve's banned 7 players from all future Valve-sponsored events after the incident involving CSGO match fixing. So yeah, they're trying to keep Dota esports clean of gambling and issues like that, which it's the same as if you're a football player or something. You're not allowed to work with or fix the outcomes of football games or bet on football games. So a good thing there. I don't think there's much that needs to be said other than that, though. Just know that there's some level of confidence there that the games that you see at the International aren't going to be marred by gambling sponsorships or match fixing. Hey, this is a legendary on a basic card pack, is it not? Yes. So, Nosdormu. I'm pretty sure I already had this card. Disenchant the extra card. It's the 4 non-legendary, so I guess I didn't have that card. I got lucky, but it still puts us in a weird point. If we search missing and we look at, let's see, crafting mode, crafting, and then just filter down to the classic card packs, we still need 1600 dust for this one, or open 50 packs to get this one, and we still need 1600 dust to get this one, or open 50 packs to this. But at this rate, there's a decent chance, if I get really lucky, I will have a complete collection by the next expansion of the classic cards. And then that leaves us dust to just look at like all the standard cards and work towards having a more varied collection. I would want to get all the regular cards that we can have, all the commons and rare cards. Try to get them eliminated off the collection and then start thinking about epic cards and legendary cards. I'm down to 31 pages, so progress is definitely being made, and I'm happy to see that. I'm not sure how much of that really turns into anything else, though, or victories. So that's it for the Americas account. Time to go to the European account, and we've got the Tavern Brawl to deal with, so we'll deal with that too. See if maybe with this Tavern Brawl / Arena thing, seems like there's a new update for Hearthstone Deck Tracker. It wants to update right now.
Come, sit a while and relax.
Eurogamer has the same article of Patrick Sutherland departing EA. Really, that is just kind of a wait and see situation. Like, maybe he'll move on and do great things, maybe he won't. Let's re-roll this one. Play 6 cards that cost 8 or more. Play Druid class cards. So when I come over here and look at our Druid deck, how many Druid class cards are there? There's a decent amount. So we'll take this Mechathune Druid deck or something that is kind of close to that and use this in the Tavern Brawl. And the one slight advantage of having 3 different accounts or 3 different regions that you play in on your account is that you do get 3 free entries into these, but it's not really worth it for all the effort you're doing. Moving on, Gamma Sutra has an article. The Dear Esther developer, the Chinese Room, has been acquired by Sumo Digital. Dear Esther and Amnesia, a Machine for Pigs developer, the Chinese Room, has been acquired by the Sumo Group, the parent company of a British game studio, Sumo Digital. So to be more accurate, I guess that was it. The Brighton-based outfit will become Sumo's 4th studio on home soil and 5th worldwide, with the company also having an office in Pune, India, as well as others in Nottingham, Newcastle, and Sheffield. Chinese Room co-founder Dan Pinchbeck will be staying as the role of creative director, while fellow co-founder Jesse Curry will continue her career as an independent composer. So the co-founder is out. That's a biased way of phrasing that.
Malfurion versus Anduin.
Pinchbeck believes the acquisition will take the Chinese Room to the next level. Quote, continue to helping the studio to create unique, innovative games it became known for. Our aim is to build on the reputation I'm proud to have earned, to create truly world-class studio, delivering bold, imaginative new games. Let's see. I have no idea what I'm even supposed to be playing, so I'm just gonna trade that one and go. Quote, we already are working on some really fantastic new concepts, along with partners, along some of the games, about some of the games we have already have in the pipeline. The future for our studio is incredibly exciting, and being part of the Sumo family is absolutely central to that. Now, having just played Layers of Fear, and feeling like how that game was really a total just like walking simulator game with jump scares, Dear Esther and Amnesia Machine for Pigs were kind of just that too. Like, I would say Amnesia goes a little bit longer from what I've seen of people actually playing it. it seems to be slightly a little bit more helpful or more interactive. But Dear Esther, on the other hand, their first game was nothing but a walking simulator. So if they're gonna make another Amnesia game, or another game like Amnesia where you're just kind of walking around dark hallways or walking around the place and not really interacting, I feel like this is a studio doomed to really never have a, I don't know what, games with good gameplay mechanics. That's really what needs to be added to their games, is gameplay mechanics, more polish, more story, more voice acting, better animation, just a little bit of everything. And maybe Sumo Digital will be the company that can give that to them. It certainly would be one of the few things of losing your independence that would be good. I also wouldn't be surprised if the finances for the Chinese room is pretty bad and they needed to be acquired, or they were going to go out of business, because I bet they just didn't save enough money. Yeah, that's just my speculation, though. I have all these cards, and yet none of them freaking do anything. What am I supposed to be doing? I have like no... I have no minions, I don't think. I think this is a 100% spells deck designed to make you draw cards and run out of your deck so you can play Mechathune. So this whole deck is pointless because I don't have Mechathune. The only thing I guess I could do is try.
Hand is too full.
Like, I could try to get him to quit. That's kind of all I can do, though. Make him think he's gonna lose, even though he's totally gonna win. So this is just a straight up bluff deck. I'm literally just bluffing. If I had Mechathune, then it would make sense, because Mechathune wins when you destroy a minion and you have no cards in your deck or in your hand or on the field. Alright, let's see what this does. Let's see. If a minion dies, gain 1 mana crystal this turn. Let's see how this works. So we deal 1 damage, deal 1 damage, and draw a card. Play this.
Like to play with fire?
Let's see. Do this. Let's see, we can't gain any. Well, yes, we can.
Time waits for no one.
Do this.
For the wild.
In the turn. Oh, could I have attacked? I think I may have been able to attack and I failed to. Oops. Alright, Rock Paper Shotgun has an article. 2D Souls-like Death's Gambit launches its Undeath today. Death's Gambit being the game that I suppose Death's Garden was trying to copy the name of. Which, okay, whatever. Death's Garden is garbage. Let's see what this Gambit has to say. apparently not too much. I still haven't fixed the settings as far as where this this works, or how this works.
With me, friend.
So Death's Gambit right now came out August 13th. It's mostly positive with 70% of 391 user reviews. It's a Souls-like RPG, Metroidvania, Dark Fantasy 2D game. I guess, while I was going to be a little critical of it, it looks alright to me. It may be a little bit dark, and a little bit Terraria-esque, but more and more I guess I'm just gonna have to bow to popular opinion here, and it's $19.99 with no discount. But I guess I'm gonna wishlist Death's Gambit. It looks like it's a good enough game, and maybe we're starting to approach a point where the we may be approaching a point where my standards are getting lowered. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Let's see. When I do this and this and then this, and then in return. Similarly, we have on Steam The Walking Dead: The Final Season. It is overwhelmingly positive, 97% of 1,159 reviewers. I feel like The Walking Dead, as the series is going on too long, it's good that they're wrapping it up. Inherently, it's not going to get the new engine, whatever that new engine was going to be. But I think we're gonna just have to be happy with what we get there and move on. There's way too few characters and minions in this. At this, kind of at the halfway point, the next, yeah, well, even at kind of at the halfway point, Clementine stopped being the kid and started being more of the adult, and now she's kind of a teenager. Yeah, you almost certainly think that she's gonna die at the end, or you're gonna have some kind of weird cure, which wouldn't make a lot of sense for any of that to happen.
I'm almost out of cards. I'm out of cards.
So yeah, if I had Mechathin right now, I could win. This is a great deck, but it needs to be changed. It needs to be changed terribly. So probably next Halloween, if I can get around to purchasing The Walking Dead: The Final Season, I will cover it. Right now, it is I think important to mention that The Walking Dead: The Final Season is really just part 1 is out right now. So if you rush through it, you can't actually finish the game and finish the story. This deck is horrible. And it's just gonna, I can't do anything. I've got 2 cards that are utterly useless to me. Oops, I should have attacked. Let's see. We have K-Cal Moo. It says, I've been playing Monster Hunt because building decks says I'm missing almost all cards for base characters. Yep, that is most definitely a problem with Hearthstone, and I don't get it. I think at this point, new players and just everybody, as an anniversary event during this expansion that just happened, they should have said, look, everybody's just going to get a complete collection of the non-golden versions of the classic cards. That will let everybody who's brand new be in a position where they can have a chance of building some decks and having some fun. And for anybody who's a veteran who's been playing since the beta, well, you're going to get a complete collection of the classic cards too, so you're going to have a whole bunch of extra cards that you can turn into dust and then make golden versions of the cards that you want. But right now, the welcome bundle is just pay $5 on a new account and we'll give you a bunch of packs you can open, but it's not enough packs to really have enough cards to build anything. So the experience is just horrible for new players. And meanwhile, the veterans are getting bored of Hearthstone and leaving, so we're just having this dying fan base because they're failing to make it easy and fun to get into Hearthstone. And some basic ideas could easily be applied here. So yeah, you can play solo, and you can play Monster Hunt, and you can play things like that to try and learn the game and play with cards. But in the end, the only thing that's going to get you cards is doing the daily quest, getting gold to buy packs, and buying packs, or getting daily quests to give you packs.
For the wild.
I don't know why I'm going here. Why don't I just concede? Just take your victory. This deck needs to be fixed. Next draw fatigues for 7, so I'm gonna lose next turn anyways. This is a surprising game that came out on Steam. It's called Battleship Official Edition, but it's made by Marmalade Game Studio. Let's see. You Sank My Battleship, the official version of the classic Hasbro board game of naval combat, now on Steam. Challenge other players in classic mode and all new Commander's mode, a fast-paced strategic game. Like, I don't know if this is to be believed, but I guess I really don't care too. If somebody is stealing Hasbro's basically stolen license of Battleship, what do I care? Well, no, this has to kind of be believed because they also are the developers of Cluedo that came out May 7, and the Game of Life that came out November 3rd, 2015. Yeah, Clue came out May 17th. So we're getting a revival of replacing the really bad Hasbro games that were on Steam with something that might be better. Battleship Official Edition is $9.99, which is, I think, exactly the same price you'd pay if you were in a toy store trying to buy Battleship. And inherently that is what they're trying to protect more than anything else, is the price of buying cardboard in a toy store, as if there are toy stores still frequently available to purchase board games. When I was looking at Toys R Us and it was closing, the one thing I was looking at was board games, and there were some board games, but not really anything that related to any of the classic games. They had either been long since purchased or sold off to somebody else, or maybe they were never on the shelves in the first place. The thing I guess to take from here is there is also a DLC for $11.99 for Battleship, and there's a season pass for Clue. But Clue is mostly positive. It's 76% of 60 user reviews in the past 30 days. Came out May 17th, 2018. This is also an interesting indication of where we are with Steam, where games will just not get a lot of reviews regardless, which is an issue certainly.
For the wild.
I guess it's also worth mentioning this is the modern upgraded version of the Clue characters. All the characters have kind of been changed a little bit. Clue seems to do that every now and then. But yeah, I guess I'll put Battleship on my wish list. I guess I'll put this on my Clue on my wish list and the Game of Life on my wish list, just to keep an eye on them and see if they go on sale. The one I would have wanted would have been Uno Rush, which that's not here. Let's see.
For the wild.
I'm just gonna hold on to all the cards. The Game of Life has mixed reviews at 69% of 202 user reviews in the last 30 days. So the Game of Life is kind of... I believe this one was actually a really bad conversion of the idea of the game, or had a bunch of DLC or something in it. It's part of a bundle of some sort. Where did that bundle link take me? What in the world did I just click on? Bundles that included in this game. Click on bundle info. This is from istthereanydeal.com apparently. So there's some kind of bundle right now for bidding on a bundle of games. Interesting. That's probably all stolen stuff. Didn't realize I had a plugin that would do things like that. Okay. I'm gonna play this.
Time waits for no one.
I'm going to do this. 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 I'm gonna attack here. And I could have played the coin and gotten health. Moving on. Gamer Citro has a video article how Brendan PlayerUnknown Green went from mod maker to creative director. I think probably if you were to watch that video you'd learn a few things, but you could probably not watch the video, and this is just my guess, and assume that Brendan PlayerUnknown Green shouldn't be the creative director of Bluehole Entertainment, the publishers of PUBG. I think he should be... I suppose creative director can mean almost anything, but I suppose he needs some people around him, controlling him, telling him what to say and what not to say, what to do and what not to do. And he should just really focus as being like a lead programmer, but he probably can't even program that well, otherwise they wouldn't have made him a creative director. In a similar way, like the Tsundere Simulator game, clearly the person who created that idea needs to be put in a minimal role and let other programmers program the game and make it run and just run the business. Like, you should just honestly probably just license your idea if you're a mod maker and say, look, I want some back-end percentages on this idea or something like that. But and I'll work with you as an employee, but I don't want to be the head of the company. I don't want to have to deal with all the BS that I'm not equipped to deal with as far as management. Here's an interesting one, considering it's coming from Gamasutra. There's a blog on Gamasutra called "The Dangers of the Echo Chamber Effect on Game Development." Let's see. The recent news piece surrounding Riot Games focused on sexist behavior at the company, but there's another trouble area that I saw that I want to talk about. In a piece published by Kotaku, they mentioned how the company only likes to hire from the fan base, in the past going as far as attaching ELO ratings to their job postings. So the echo chamber in this article is not that everybody who works in video game development, for the most part, are left-wing extremist liberal SJWs, and that they've all got heavy agendas and biases there and are echo chambering there. Or it's not that everybody in the mainstream video game news and development will only agree with each other, and I've basically never heard anybody disagree with anybody or write a article disagreeing with another person's review or opinion on anything in the video game media. That's not the echo chamber they're talking about. They're talking about Riot Games hiring their fans, which, I don't know, I mean, like, if you're developing a sequel to a game, you probably would want people working on that sequel to have played the first game. If Gearbox, for example, is working on Borderlands 3, which that really shouldn't be an if, they are, they probably, if they're hiring new people, should ask them, have you ever played first-person shooters? Have you ever played the Borderlands series? One of my biggest fears about Borderlands 3, as I'm sort of in the middle of playing Borderlands 2. I took a break for the Halloween month to play horror games, but I'm going to get back to Borderlands 2. One of my biggest fears is that the childish teenager joke mentality that takes place in the Borderlands series gets completely forgotten, as it's been several years now, and it is just replaced with a bunch of SJW propaganda in the game, and there's no more silliness. Like, Borderlands is a game where you're killing characters named after the Ninja Turtles and Batman, and the Scooby-Doo was in one of the DLCs of Borderlands 1. Like, everybody is a psycho in the Borderlands world. They're psychopaths. They love violence. They love killing each other. They love doing dirty jokes. You have Moxie as a main character there, and in the existence of Moxie alone, you have a character that people won't like because she's got these tattoos and scars and large cleavage. She loves to show off, and she's definitely, she's walking around in provocative clothing, and yeah, if that's just all gone, they already lost Scooter because the actor or the programmer who voice acted Scooter is sick and left the company because of that. He's like terminally physically sick, so you really can't do anything about that. So yeah, when you're talking about echo chamber and hiring your fans to your company, or people who played your game and like it, I think that's exactly the right thing to do. I think that keeps your corporate culture and what your game has been and what has made it popular the same. Of course, there's a category here being open to criticism, But honestly, I don't think any of the Kotaku article that attacked Riot is valid criticism. It's complaints from what I would describe as disgruntled employees saying that they were talked over in meetings. And so at best you say this is a criticism of them running their meetings poorly. And that's kind of it. But the disgruntled employees seem to never filed an HR complaint or talk to anybody about anything. So there's no police reports, there was no assault, there was nothing here. They're complaining about people talking over. And Kotaku only put out that article, in my opinion, to hide and change the subject from it being the anniversary of Gamergate, which they were heavily involved in. Alright, so we'll do this. We'll do this. We'll do this. And then we'll end the turn.
Hand is too full.
So this is really the pot calling the kettle black here. But it's kind of just a bad criticism of Riot Games. Like, just trying to make hay, trying to push the story further. Let's see, like, and I kind of knew it was going to be that, knowing Gamma Sutra and knowing their political leanings. I don't think they would let a blog on their site if it wasn't pushing the agenda of their editors and their directors. Like, I just don't think that would happen. 6 armor. And 6 armor. And then attack. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna win any on these Tavern Balls, by the way, so no surprise there. Moving on, the Phantom Doctrine is on Steam, if I can look at it, because somebody's live broadcasting right now, and that just gets in your way all the time. Phantom Doctrine right now came out August 14th. Is mixed reviews at 55% for 79 user reviews. It's a strategy turn-based Cold War RPG. I think the problem with it is this idea, if I'm recalling correctly, where you're running a spy agency of sorts, and you're picking your team members and then sending them on short little missions. But I think that's where it falls apart, is that there's really short and probably repetitive areas that the characters walk through. Instead of me speculating, though, let's go look at a review. It's 10% off for $35.99, so it's an extremely expensive game for what looks like a top-down isometric XCOM-like game. Let's see a negative review and see what this is at. Not recommended, 16 and a half hours on record. It's ... almost an okay game. That is not the response you would want for your game. That is totally not what you want to hear for your game, is that it's almost an okay game. Mostly it feels like a whole lot of potential kneecapped by some baffling bad design decisions. Line of sight is often arcane guesswork made substantially worse by the fact that there is no LOS preview. I don't know what level of success preview. A standard feature for the genre. I don't know what LOS preview means, so The interface in general doesn't give enough information. For example, when the stats boost for your agents upon level, it doesn't tell you how much they actually increase the stat by, making it hard to make an informed decision. This guy is playing the crazy one turn kill strategy. The problem with this one turn strategy is that you have to move so fast. His time is running out, and he's got to get this to a massive amount of attack, or actually he has to get this guy to a massive amount of attack. And will he make it? Nope. Well, apparently he did make it. 16, that, and that. And
A natural mistake.
alright, here's what we'll do now.
Play with fire.
Let's see. See, this is why this is like a garbage. This is a garbage strategy. In general, it's just not a good strategy to play.
For the wilds.
Where were we on this review? Also, important bits of my UI occasionally just disappear for no reason and don't come back until I load the game. The worst part of the missions that throw you straight into open combat without any stealth infiltration stage. The combat mechanics allow every shot to hit without damage being reduced by stats, gear, or cover. This avoids potential frustration of XCOM style hit percentage mechanics, but it also means that no matter what you do, the enemies can easily just whittle you down with the death of 1,000 cuts. This would be fine if the combat was at least a last resort in stealth focused game, but therein lies the problem with the mission starting straight into combat. There we go, we got a straight loss, and this time we only got 25 gold, and last time I think we got 35 gold. It's not a terrible game. There's fun to be had amongst the frustrating design, but it's nowhere good enough to be recommended spending money on it without a mountain of caveats. And Phantom Doctrine is an interesting game because it was getting overhyped, but it was only getting overhyped like very recently, in the past week or two, so like they probably only sent out the early access or the bribes, quote unquote the bribes. I'm joking there, I'm not sort of joking, to certain mainstream video game media sites to push the Phantom Doctrine. Otherwise, this would have been a game that would have just come out and nobody would have heard of it, and because of that, there would have been less people playing it. It would have given them slightly more time to try to polish things. It sounds like it's an unpolished game that needed to not be released right now. There we go, we got a new test subject. And we've got some new classic cards. Those aren't new, they're just bugged. I'm trying to mark everything off as new. Apparently I've got 2 test subjects. There we go. Alright. So that deals with the Tavern Brawl. Next thing we need to do is play cards that cost 8 or more. Let's see. We have some Russian person came on the chat and typed in Russian. The rules clearly state English only, please, or I'm gonna have to ban you. I haven't had to ban anybody in a while, which is, I guess that's an interesting thing that could be talked about too. I'm gonna go ahead and just get rid of this deck, by the way. and find something different to make. Yeah, I guess we could see if we could play some expensive on the druids, but
If you make a wild deck, you can only use it in wild games.
alright. I'm gonna look to things that would increase our mana, and let's see. Take that and take that. That's our mana increasing part of that. And then we need things that cost 8 or more. So just can click here, I guess, and that will help filter all of that. We'll take that. This is just late game stuff. Got room for 4 more. Should I be playing Cthulhu? Not really. Well, I guess we'll keep Cthulhu. Who cares? Close enough. Good enough. Good enough to do the daily quests. And that's all that matters. Like, that really was the daily quest. That seems odd that they would want me to play 6 cards that cost 8 or more. Really. Interesting. Yeah. I guess at this point there's really no reason for me to wishlist the Phantom Doctrine. So let's just move on. There's a YouTuber, I'm not gonna name him, but he's everybody is saying at least that he's been caught false flagging other YouTubers who are critical of himself. It seems like that has happened in the past. Apparently there's a website on YouTube where you can look and see where you flag things. I went and saw what I've ever flagged, and it turns out there is only one video I've ever flagged, and YouTube didn't do anything about it, which was fine. Fair enough. I flagged it for a slightly misleading title of a video that didn't really tell me the information I wanted. It was about computer stuff too. It wasn't even video game related. But in general, I don't flag videos. I don't run across videos that I want to complain about. The only ones I could flag would be things that are copywritten material, and what do I care? What do I care if somebody's not going to protect their own copyright?
Who goes there?
So yeah, no real issue there, except for the issue of, yeah, people shouldn't be flagging people on YouTube for pretty much anything. I mean, it's just anti-free speech, frankly. I might flag somebody if they stole my content, but my content's not popular enough for that to happen. I would almost certainly talk about it within a week on the streaming if I did do something like that.
Job's done.
But yeah, it's just not cool. Particularly since YouTube, when a channel gets flagged, takes away your ability to stream. So if somebody were to say flag my channel and YouTube actually gave me some kind of strike for that, then I wouldn't be able to stream for 90 days, and that would be crazy. Crazy bad. But I could probably outlive it just fine too, because I've got plenty of pre-recorded Hearthstone videos. Well, you know, it might very well kneecap the growth of my channel if I just stop streaming, since my Hearthstone streams are the things that people watch. Moving on, PC Gamer has a article. Steam has a hate group problem because Valve fails to enforce its own laws. Let's see. So they are talking about Steam groups and basically meme groups that have been created on Valve, having names or descriptions or titles. A lot of it is just the same, the same BS of like Valve probably hasn't even seen these groups, or they pop up and nobody does anything with them. I've certainly never, as somebody who's on Steam every day, I have never seen any kind of Steam hate group. Steam recommends some groups to me, and the groups that they recommend to me are generally the exact same groups of PC Gamers group, which inherently you have a PC Gamer who has their own Steam group competing against these people. These are all meme groups, like less than 5% of anybody less than 5% I would guess of any of these groups actually believes a word they're saying, and yeah, whatever. I mean, what can you do about it? You ban them when you find them, or you do nothing and just let them exist. The cure for to use that famous quote, the cure for bad speech is more speech, not less speech. Driving the truly hateful people into the shadows so that they have no chance of hearing different opinions and perhaps changing their minds. Making them feel like they are the victims is not going to work. It's just going to feed into persecution complexes. It's the same thing with Alex Jones, and that's really what this whole article really is about. It's just more of people, pressure groups, some of which are think tank, at least one of which is a think tank run by former and current government employees, are pressuring and suggesting that people like Alex Jones be deplatformed everywhere, everywhere and anywhere. And that's just not going to... It's just not a good idea, and this is just a kind of non-article. Like, I could go on any site, basically, any site of a big enough size, and find some small meme group, something like that, unless it's just an incredibly censored site, where nothing is allowed to be said at all, which I'm sure there are some SJW sites like that, and I'm sure nothing's fun. Facebook, in a lot of ways, is getting to be that way too. It's like very little is ever actually bothered to be said or is allowed to be said at Facebook. So when I look particularly at like the game groups I follow on Facebook, nobody is saying anything substantive. They're just saying, click and like this meme. They're saying, what's your favorite video game for the millionth time that week? It's boring. Nobody's putting out reviews. Nobody's saying anything. Nobody's saying even a simple statement like, I sure am loving playing Hearthstone this week, or anything like that. And part of that is probably reports. And the way Facebook kind of is just censoring what you're seeing. Well, I guess I need to play 2 more cards that are over 8, and then I'll be done with the European account. And it's taking me forever to get through the news because I keep going on rants, but whatever. We're gonna break it up here, I suppose. I have no reason to start a new game. It's been an hour. That's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me, friend me on Steam, gift me a game or a gift card. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.